Greetings, everyone, and welcome to my 2018 DVD and Blu-ray collection overview. So, today we're going to take a look at my Transformers, the rest of the Voltron stuff, and kind of get a start on some of the 70s and 80s stuff in my collection. Mostly some Saturday morning things and whatnot, some cartoons, some live action. So let's get to it today on the Multimedia Chronicles. Okay, so just before we get into the Transformers section here, I should show you, I do also have this, the Transformers Matrix Collection, which has just basically the complete original series of the Transformers with a bonus book and some fridge magnets or something, and I don't know. I did a big video about this a while back, so feel free to look that up and check it out if you want a more detailed look at that. So let's see what we've got here. So there's most of the Transformers stuff is here, and then we've got Voltron here, which I've also done videos about, and then the rest of the Transformers is in the back, along with some other sci-fi shows that kind of fit in with the Saturday morning and whatnot stuff. So let's take a look here. So we've got the original Rhino release of Beast Wars Transformers, which is actually very nice. I did not get the Rhino releases of the original series because they kind of messed them up. But their release of Beast Wars was actually quite nice for the most part. The only issue I had with it was it used the shorter, truncated versions of the opening titles instead of the full-length version that originally aired. And that's kind of unfortunate. So that's the complete series of Beast Wars. And then we have the complete series of Beast Machines as well. These have both been re-released by Shout Factory in recent years. I took a look at the specs on those releases, and they didn't seem to be a significant enough upgrade for me to double dip, so I just stuck with the Rhino sets. The next up, I've got my multitude of editions of Transformers the movie. So this is the Region 2 Ultimate Edition. It's a 2-disc edition which contains both the widescreen and full screen, and lots of extras that are exclusive to that version. I'm just going to put it down here just to free up a little bit of maneuverability space here. Then we've got the Rhino edition. This is the special collector's edition that they put out. Features an interview with Vince DiCola. It isn't available in any other edition. Then we have the 20th Anniversary Edition, which again features both the full screen and widescreen versions of the movie and lots of exclusive extras. Then this is the Australian Blu-ray release, which for the longest time, this and the UK edition, which were both identical, was the only way to get the movie in high definition. The movie itself is region-free. The extras, however, are PAL format, so you do need a PAL-compatible player in order to view the extras. And then we have Shout Factory's recent 30th Anniversary Edition of Transformers the movie with the slipcover, so 2 different bits of cover art. This was the British release poster of Transformers the movie, by the way. This is some original artwork for the Shout Factory release, and it's quite a nice edition. And then just because I'm a freak for this movie and wanted to support the release, I also got the Steelbook, which is quite nice too. Then we have the Japanese shows. We've got Transformers Headmasters. This actually continued on after Season 3 of the American series. And then we have Super God Master Force, which continues on after Headmasters. And then we have Victory, which basically concludes the series. There was also one called Zone, which never got a release over here. It was just a one-shot. It never got picked up as a series. There was also Scramble City, which was a one-shot special meant to bridge the gap between the end of Season 2 and the movie. The movie, of course, occurs between Seasons 2 and 3 of the original series. And then we have another Japanese trilogy. We've got Transformers Armada, and sadly my slipcover got damaged here. Basically took it out and it slipped out of my hands and kind of got crunched. So that's unfortunate. And then we have Energon, complete series. These are also re-releases. All of these were released before. Shout Factory re-released them. They're a little more affordable, so I missed the original releases, so grabbed these when they came out. And then we have Transformers Animated, the complete series, which is great stuff. This sat incomplete Yeah, incomplete. Me fail English? That's impossible. Incomplete for a very long time. Only the first 2 seasons were released for a very long time. And then Shout Factory picked up the rights, re-released the first 2 seasons, put out the complete series set, and also released Season 3 as a standalone for people who had the old sets. And also the visual style of the packaging matched up with the old releases, which was quite nice. And then we got Transformers Prime. This is the limited edition, which comes with a comic book. It's pretty cool. So this is the first season. And then we have Season 2 with the lovely... Got the slipcovers for all of these. This is quite nice. I actually still have to watch this series. I've only actually seen the first few episodes, and that looked pretty awesome. Season 3, Beast Hunters. And then finally, we have Beast Hunters Predacons Rising, which is the end of Transformers Prime. Now, of course, they have Transformers Robots in Disguise, which is actually the only series I don't have. Oh, and I don't have Rescue Bots either. So, Transformers Robots in Disguise apparently continues the story from Transformers Prime. So, pretty cool. I'll have to check that out. Sadly, not getting any Blu-ray releases. It's DVD only, despite being a high-def series. And then here, I recently did a closer look on all of these, so I'm not going to spend too much time on them. And also, if you watched the previous episode, you would have seen those at the tail end of the anime overview. So we have Voltron, the Lion Tins, got Blue Lion, Yellow Lion, Green Lion, Red Lion, Black Lion, Vehicle Force C Team, Vehicle Force Land Team, Vehicle Force Air Team. Those are backwards. It's supposed to go this way. There you go. Air, Land, Sea. That's how it goes. And then we have Fleet of Doom, which is, of course, the team-up movie of Lion Force and Vehicle Force. We've got a couple of motion comics. We've got Revelations and Paradise Lost. We've got the original Beast King Go Lion, Collection 1. Collection 2, Collection 3. This is the original uncut Japanese shows that Voltron was adapted from. We've got Armored Fleet Die Rugger, Collection 1, Collection 2, and Collection 3. Again, if you want to get a more in-depth look at these and have some more information about the origins of the show and the origins of the remastering process of the DVDs and just all kinds of cool info, check out my 3-part Closer Look series about the Voltron collection. Okay, so now we got to take all these off the shelf so we can get to the stuff in behind. Okay, so as you can see here, we've got the rest of the Transformers stuff and a few G.I. Joe items as well. Just before we get into that, I will show you something here. In addition to the Transformers set, I do also have the G.I. Joe Footlocker set. I've done a closer look video about this, as well as covering the other G.I. Joe releases I have. So if you'd like to get more information about that, check that out. Lots of good info in there. Okay, so starting from the end here, we've got quite a variety of stuff. I collected a good chunk of the Filmation library as it was put out by BCI Eclipse, the now sadly long defunct label. They put out a good chunk of Filmation stuff, basically anything they could get their hands on that wasn't already tied up with other companies. So we have a bunch of their live action shows. We have The Secrets of Isis, which is basically a superhero type of series. We got Arc 2, which was kind of a post-apocalyptic sci-fi series, which I really liked. And then we have Space Academy, basically a sci-fi series about a group of young space cadets. And then one that ties in with Space Academy, we have Jason of Star Command. I loved this show as a kid. It's basically a serialized sci-fi adventure series, which also stars Sid Haig as Dragos, who was the big villain of this. So it's pretty cool to see Sid Haig in this as the big baddie. And then we got Flash Gordon. This is the original Buster Crabbe serials from the 30s. So we got Flash Gordon Conquers the Universe, and Flash Gordon's Trip to Mars. The first Flash Gordon is also known as Space Soldiers, but I just usually refer to it as Flash Gordon. If you watch these, you'll notice a lot of stuff that looks familiar to Star Wars fans. one of the big reasons for that is Flash Gordon. The Flash Gordon serials was one of the big original inspirations for Star Wars. And then we have the Flash Gordon movie, Savior of the Universe edition, with a beautiful Alex Ross cover. Very, very nice edition indeed. And inside it also has some additional art cards as well. Pretty cool. Very nice stuff. Now, if you're wondering why all this Flash Gordon stuff is in here, well, it kind of ties into the live-action Saturday morning stuff. But most importantly, it ties in with this. We have the 70s animated series that came out around the same time or shortly before the live-action movie. So this is the complete series. This was also serialized, which was kind of an interesting idea for shows from that era. You didn't see that very often. And then we have Defenders of the Earth, the complete series, Volume 1. Also featuring Flash Gordon, amongst some other heroes of the classic era, such as the Phantom, Mandrake the Magician, etc., all fighting Ming the Merciless. And then we have the complete series, Volume 2. And then to kind of tie in with the classic heroes here, we also have Buck Rogers, the original movie serial, also starring Buster Crabbe. He was just the classic pulp sci-fi hero guy. And then we have another edition of the Buck Rogers serial. This is the 70th anniversary editions. This has actually all been very nicely restored. It's really, really good stuff. And then, of course, to tie in with Buck Rogers, we have Duck Dodgers. So we got one volume of 13 episodes there. And then another volume of 13 episodes. So very nice. Get some Warner Brothers parody action. And then just sort of carrying on with some of the Filmation stuff, we've got Hero High, which is one I vaguely remember watching as a kid. It was familiar with me. Apparently, originally they did this because they wanted to do an Archie series, but they couldn't get the rights. So instead, they were going to do like Archie characters as superheroes. So instead, they did sort of Archie-esque characters as superheroes. Like, some of the parallels are undeniable. I'm almost surprised they didn't get sued for that. And then we got Space Sentinels and Freedom Force, the complete series of both. Space Sentinels also has Isis in it as one of the main characters. And then we've got a great series from the 90s. We've got Prince Valiant, the complete series, which has one of the most beautiful opening theme songs I think I've ever heard for an animated series. Just fantastic. And this is very much an epic ongoing saga that is told over the course of its 65 episodes. And then we have the Lone Ranger, the New Adventures of Lone Ranger and Zorro. Sorry, this is Volume 1 here. New Adventures of Lone Ranger and Zorro. I did closer looks at these a while back. And these were often paired up with Tarzan, Lord of the Jungle, which we got the complete Season 1. There's still a number of episodes we don't have. This is 16 episodes. There were, I think, 34 episodes total. So this is roughly half the series. And I guess it didn't sell very well because it doesn't look like we're going to get the rest of it, unfortunately. And then finally we have Galaxy High School, which is just a great, great series. One season, 13 episodes, developed by Chris Columbus, who, was involved with Gremlins back in the day and the Harry Potter movies and stuff like that. So pretty cool stuff, basically about a high school in space, as the name implies. And then that brings us to the rest of the Transformers collection here. So this is some stuff that was sent to me by David Bunch of Numbers, just to kind of have some cool additional things for the collection. We got Transformers, the original series, Volume 1. So this just has some episodes from the original Generation 1 series, primarily Season 1, I believe. Then Volume 2. And then Volume 3. Very nice covers on those. Then we have another set here. We've got Season 2, Part 2. So I think this is all Season 1 here. And then this is Season 2, Part 2. Yeah. So just to have some different editions, basically. And this is a really nice set. The Complete Original Series Deluxe Edition. This has, I think it's all Season 1. Yeah, all 16 episodes of Season 1 in a beautiful deluxe set. Region 2 PAL format. And then he sent me these long before Shout Factory got the rights to the series. We have the complete series of... Oh, we're out of order here. We have the complete series of Headmasters. We'll go back to that in a second here. This is the Takara Collection, Volume 1. This is a really nice box set, nice and thick, as you can see. And it contains every episode of Headmasters. And then we've also got Super God Master Force. Very nice. And then finally, we have Victory. There you go. Very nice. And here, this is an alternative version with, I think it has a different opening title sequence. This is Transformers Takara. So this is how these episodes were presented in the UK for a while, sort of as this separate series. I think, is this English dubbed? Yeah, this is actually an English dubbed version as well, which we never got over here. So that's pretty cool. And then finally here we got a few episodes from Transformers Generation 2, which was the repurposed episodes from Generation 1 that had computer animated intros and outros and stuff like that. Through the magic of the Cybernet Space Cube, you could see the computer-enhanced stories of the Transformers. And then, let's see, so here we've got, where is it here? G.I. Joe Series 2. So this is the Deke series, which actually picks up after G.I. Joe the movie. Which, originally G.I. Joe the movie was the last story of the Hasbro, the Marvel Sunbow series. And so this was a few years later. Deke basically did a 5-part miniseries called Operation Dragonfire, which continued the story from the end of the movie and set things off on a new path. So there was 2 seasons of that, 40 or so episodes, I think, total. Doesn't say specific. I think it was 40 episodes. Anyway, it was a good length series and a nice kind of coda to the original series. And then, of course, we've got G.I. Joe the movie, the original movie, which ended off the original series. This has both the widescreen and full-frame editions, much like the Transformers. However, the full-frame edition is only available on the DVD that's included. The movie, or the Blu-ray, is widescreen. And then finally, last but most certainly not least, we have G.I. Joe Resolute, which was the mini-series, clearly inspired by the 80s series, but all grown up and really violent. This is definitely not a G.I. Joe for the kiddies. This is one that was made specifically, I think, for fans who had grown up with the 80s show and wanted something to kind of call back to that nostalgia, but with a little more edge, a little more bite to it. Really good miniseries. It's kind of a shame that they didn't do more of this, because I really liked this a lot. I thought it was a pretty badass update of the original concepts. So there's still quite a few G.I. Joe things I need to get. Like one of the big ones would be G.I. Joe Renegades, which came out around the same time as Transformers Prime. That's available in a complete series Blu-ray set, so I definitely like to get that. And there's a few others, like G.I. Joe Sigma 6 has a bunch of volumes out. And there's a few other just kind of direct-to-video movies and stuff like that. I really wish we would get a complete series of G.I. Joe Extreme. That one was really cool and I think very underrated. Featured character designs by Bill Sienkiewicz, who was a wonderful artist whose artwork I essentially grew up with. And I was really thrilled to see that he had done the character designs for that series. And I liked what little I saw of it. But sadly, it seems to have just kind of disappeared into the mists of time. So hopefully we'll get some kind of DVD or Blu-ray release of it at some point. Alrighty, so that's it. Yeah, definitely pretty Transformers and Voltron dominated, but I'm sure you'll agree some other cool stuff there too. Alright, so next time we're going to continue our look at the 80s and 90s stuff by tackling this shelf front and back. Some really good stuff on that shelf there, so I hope you'll tune in for that one. Alrighty, so I will see you next time. Until then, thanks for watching. Big thanks to my Patreon sponsors, and sayonara. Ow! Yeah, that's not awkward at all.